You made the case, you had the numbers, you had already walked your sponsor through all of it 3 days earlier and they agreed with every word of it. Then you get in the room, someone pushes back, you look across the table at your sponsor and they say nothing. So you carry on and you own it. The decision goes the other way and now you are the one who looks weak in front of the exec team. Here is the part no one tells you. That silence was not a decision your sponsor made in that room. It was made weeks earlier, in all the conversations you had with them. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why sponsors go quiet and the 5 things you need to do between meetings so that when it actually matters, they speak. Let us start with how most project managers actually treat their sponsor. They are 3 things: a signature at the front of the business case, an escalation route when something goes wrong, and a name on the governance slide. On paper, the sponsor owns the business case, owns the benefits realization, and is accountable for clearing the path in front of you. That is what the methodology says. In practice, most project managers speak to their sponsor once a month for an hour in a steering group in front of an audience. Think about what you are actually asking of them in that situation. You are asking a senior person to spend their own political capital in public defending a position they have only 20 minutes of exposure to. That is not a sponsor. That is a colleague who happens to be senior to you. And this is the shift I want you to make. Sponsorship is not something that gets assigned to you at the start of a project. It is something you build. If you have not built it, you do not have it, no matter what the recce says. The 4 reasons sponsors go quiet. Number 1, you surprise them. Nobody backs you in public on something they are hearing for the first time. Senior people default to silence when they do not have the full picture, because silence costs them nothing and being wrong of their peers costs them a lot. If your sponsor learns about a problem at the same moment as the rest of the steering group, you have guaranteed their silence. You did that, not them. Number 2, they do not understand the stakes in their own terms. You said you were going to miss the September milestone. They heard a date move. What they needed to hear was that you lose the revenue this program was funded to protect, and somebody is going to have to be explaining that to the board in November. Same fact, completely different level of interest. Number 3, they have no cover. Your sponsor will not go to war with a peer on your behalf if backing you costs them more than it gains them. That is not cowardice. That is how an organisation works. Your job is to make backing you the low risk option. If supporting you means walking into an argument unprepared, they will stay out of it every single time. Number 4, they are not invested. If your sponsor has never had a win out of this project, never been handed something good to report upwards, never had their name attached to anything that went well, then they have no stake in the outcome. A sponsor with nothing to lose is a sponsor who says nothing. Quick one before I get into the fix. If you are watching this and recognizing your own last steering group, subscribe. I put out practical stuff on the political side of project delivery, which is the bit qualifications never cover. Right, here is what you actually do. Everything that goes wrong in the room is caused by something that did not happen outside it. So here are 5 things you do between meetings. Number 1, the no surprise rule. Your sponsor never hears anything for the first time in a room with other people in it, ever. Good news or bad? Bad news especially goes to your sponsor first privately and early. Yes, that conversation is uncomfortable. It is a fraction as uncomfortable as being hung out to dry in front of the exec team. Number 2, a stand-in 15 minutes. Fortnightly, in the diary, protected. And it's not a status update. Status is what you send them. Do not read your RAG rating out loud to a director. They will cancel that meeting inside a month and they will be right to. The 15 minutes covers 3 things. What am I worried about? What I need from you? And what is coming that could embarrass you? That third one changes the relationship faster than anything else you will ever do. Number 3, translate into their currency. Project managers speak in scope, schedule and resource. Executives buy in risks, money, reputation, and whatever they personally get measured on that year. So find out what your sponsor is measured on. Ask them directly. It's not a rude question. Then frame everything you bring them against it. Here's an example you'd say to your team. The integration testing phase has slipped by 2 weeks because the vendor's API documentation was incomplete. we've had to reallocate 2 developers from the reporting module to unblock it, which pushes the deliverable into the next sprint. Overall schedule impact is roughly 10 working days, and we're tracking it as an amber risk on the plan. And here's that same example if you were saying it to your sponsor. There's a vendor issue that's going to cost us 2 weeks. Here's why it matters to you. The reporting module was the piece the board specifically asked about last quarter. And if this slips further, it lands right before your steering committee update. I want you to hear that from me now, with a plan attached, rather than find out in the room. I'm already moving people to protect the date, I just wanted you ahead of it. The same fact, completely different currency. The first version protects the schedule, the second protects the sponsor, and that's the one that keeps you in the room next time something goes wrong. Number 4, give them something to win. Feed your sponsor wins they can report upwards. Let them announce good news instead of announcing it yourself. Put their name on the thing that went well. This is not politics for the sake of it. A sponsor who has publicly taken credit for your project is a sponsor who can no longer afford to let it fail. You have aligned their interest with yours, which is the entire game. And finally, number 5, pre-wire the room. Before any decision meeting, you speak to your sponsor and to 2 or 3 people most likely to object. Because here's the thing about decisions in large organizations. They are ratified in meetings, they are not made in them. If you are consistently finding out about decisions after everyone else, that is not people being rude to you. It is evidence that you were not in the conversation where the decisions actually happened. If this is landing, this is the sort of thing I coach project managers through properly, and I have written about it at length. Link is in the description. Now one more thing, and this is the practical bit you can use this week. If you take one thing away from this video, take this. Before any meeting where a decision matters, you have this conversation with your sponsor. It takes about 4 minutes and it sounds like this. On Thursday, I'm going to ask the group to approve this. I think the pushback is going to come from Sarah, and it's going to be about cost. Here is how I'm planning to answer that. Can I count on you to back it in the room? And if you are not comfortable, tell me now and we will find the version that you are comfortable with. Now look at what that does for your sponsor. It removes the surprise. It hands them the counter argument so they are not thinking on their feet. And critically, it gives them a way to say no to you in private. Because silence in the room is almost always a no that they never got the chance to give you earlier. Now some of you are watching this and thinking, my sponsor is genuinely absent. They do not turn up, they do not respond, they are sponsor in name only. 3 things. Build a coalition instead. Find the 3 other senior people who need this to succeed and work with them. Make the gap visible in writing, factually, not passive aggressively, with decisions, outstanding, dates, impact. And if it comes to it, escalate to whoever appointed them. But I'll be honest with you, if none of this moves, you do not have a delivery problem, you have a governance problem, and no amount of good project management fixes a governance problem. I'll finish with one example. I was working with a project where the sponsor kept going quiet every steering meeting. Outside the room they sounded supportive, inside the room, when the difficult questions came, nothing. The project team thought the sponsor had lost confidence. We sat down beforehand and had exactly the conversation I just described. We talked through the objections, agreed where they were comfortable taking a position and also where they weren't. They admitted they hadn't been speaking up because they were worried about being challenged on details they didn't know. At the next meeting, the difference was immediate. They didn't answer every question, but they opened by saying, I support this recommendation. And that single sentence changed the whole discussion. The team stopped defending the project and started discussing the decision. That's what good sponsorship looks like. It isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about showing up at the moment your project needs you most. So to recap, your sponsor goes quiet for 4 reasons. 1, you surprised them. 2, they did not understand the stakes in their language. 3, you gave them no cover. And 4, they had nothing invested. And you fix all 4 between meetings, not in them. No surprises, simply a stand-in 15 minutes that is not a status update. Speak in their currency, give them something to win, and pre-wire the room before you walk into it. The room is where it gets ratified. The work happens everywhere else. If this was useful, subscribe and have a look at the link in the description. I will see you in the next one.